African Union Champion on Reparatory Justice. His Excellency Carlos Manuel Villanova, President of Sao Tome and Principe. His Excellency Bassirou Diomaye Faye, President of the Republic of Senegal. His Excellency Joseph Numa Boakai Sr., President of Liberia. Her Excellency, the Very Honorable Mia Amon Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados. His Excellency Gaudencio Mohaba Mesu, Deputy Prime Minister of the Republic of Equatorial Guinea. His Excellency Azouz Nasri, the Speaker of the Parliament of Algeria. His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor, former President of the Republic of Ghana. I also acknowledge President Emmanuel Macron, who will be joining us virtually. I acknowledge Ms. Lydia Artabrito, the Assistant Director General of UNESCO. I acknowledge Her Excellency Amachum Amwa, the African Union Commissioner for Health and Humanitarian Services. I acknowledge Professor Hilary Beckles, the Chair of the CARICOM Reparations Commission. I acknowledge the distinguished Professor Wole Soyinka, a Nobel laureate. I acknowledge His Excellency Jean-Marc Ayrault, former Prime Minister of France. I acknowledge His Excellency Ralph Gonzalez, the former Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I acknowledge His Excellency Her Excellency Epsi Campbell Barr, former Vice President of Costa Rica. I acknowledge distinguished ministers of state and heads of delegations, members of the diplomatic corps, the first Deputy Speaker of the Ghanaian Parliament, the Majority Leader of the Ghanaian Parliament, members of Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. I also acknowledge Her Excellency Dr. Ntembo Nandi Ndaitwah, the President of the Republic of Namibia. I acknowledge the President of the National House of Chiefs and all members of the National House of Chiefs. Permit me to also acknowledge our ambassadors and high commissioners in the Republic of Ghana, and acknowledge our experts, researchers, historians who were with us yesterday for the technical meetings, activists, leaders of civil society, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with profound honor and great pleasure that I welcome you all on behalf of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, an African Union Champion on Reparatory Justice, to Accra for this defining high-level Next Steps Conference on Reparatory Justice. Your Excellencies, permit me at the outset to express Ghana's deepest appreciation to each of you for accepting President Mahama's invitation and traveling from across Africa, the Caribbean, the Americas, Europe, Asia, and beyond to participate in this historic gathering. Your presence here is not only testament to the growing international commitment to reparatory justice, but also a powerful affirmation that the pursuit of historical truth, human dignity, and collective justice remains a shared responsibility of the global community. The march for reparatory justice has never seen this momentum. This is our moment. Victory is on the horizon. Our ancestors and posterity will be proud of our collective resolve. It is remarkable that exactly to this day, on the 18th of June, 1824, our ancestors chalked their first history in the British Parliament when the Parliament was compelled to pass the Consolidated Slave Trade Act, which formally declared slavery illegal. It is also fortuitous that it is this same week, the 19th of June, in 1864, that the last batch of slaves were declared free in the United States of America. So we have won many battles. We won the battle against slavery. We won the battle against colonialism. We won the battle against apartheid. And we are confident that we shall win the battle against reparatory injustice. We shall win that battle. And just as other atrocities receive reparatory justice, so shall the transatlantic enslavement also have its day in the court of justice. On behalf of President John Dramani Mahama, the government and people of Ghana, I wish to extend a very warm welcome to all our distinguished heads of state and government, our foreign ministers, leaders of international organizations, eminent scholars, legal experts, members of civil society, and representatives of the African diaspora, whose participation enriches this important conversation. But Your Excellency, before proceeding further, permit me to digress a little bit. I want to convey to all of you Ghana's appreciation for your full support for the Black Stars last night. And I know this is important to all of you here because when I welcomed you at the airport, you all wished the Black Stars well. And indeed, some of you requested for Black Star jerseys, led by the President of Liberia, President Boakai, the senior, who I was delighted to hand over the Black Stars jersey to, and I also handed over the jerseys to all our technical experts when we met for dinner last night. And you assured us of victory, and victory came. But what is even more fortuitous is that the name of the team, the Black Stars, was a name that the founder of our country, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, deliberately chose from his mentor, Dr. Marcus Garvey, the founder of the Black Star philosophy. And what makes our victory so exciting is that the son of Dr. Marcus Garvey, the renowned surgeon, Dr. Julius Garvey, is here with us. He received his jersey, and he's proud that the Black Stars is still flying high. So we thank you all for your support. Your Excellencies, this Next Steps Conference is truly a historic moment. Just a few months ago, on the 25th of March 2026, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama led a landmark effort, mobilized the international community with inspiring and courageous leadership. And on that day, collectively, we made history by an overwhelming majority of 123 member states voting in favor of the UN resolution. UN resolution A/RES/A0/250 was adopted. And today, the United Nations record acknowledged that the transatlantic enslavement is the gravest crime against humanity. a major step forward towards the restoration of the dignity and the humanity of our ancestors. The adoption of Resolution A/RES/80/250 marked a significant milestone in the global quest for reparatory justice and represented a collective acknowledgement of the gravest tragedies in human history and their enduring consequences for Africa and people of African descent. We commend our bold, our visionary, and our dynamic leader, the African Union champion for reparatory justice, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for that sterling leadership. But we acknowledge that President Mahama could not have achieved this alone. It took the contributions of all of you here, scholars, researchers, activists, the youth, and the guidance of our leaders who are represented here. World leaders who know what time it is and who instructed their foreign ministers, their permanent representatives and ambassadors in New York to support this resolution. Our ancestors, Africans, and all people of African descent are eternally grateful to the 123 presidents and prime ministers who made this historic achievement possible. Your Excellencies, this conference marks the first major global platform following the adoption of the landmark resolution. As President Mahama has said, it offers us an opportunity to reflect collectively on what has been achieved, assess the challenges ahead, and most importantly, define a common pathway to advance reparatory justice within the international system. Since the adoption of this historic resolution, discussions on reparatory justice have gained unprecedented momentum across continents, governments, institutions, scholars, legal practitioners, community leaders, and citizens with renewed conversations about historical accountability, restitution, reconciliation, and sustainable mechanisms for redress. The growing international support for these conversations demonstrates that reparatory justice is no longer a peripheral issue. It is now firmly established as a legitimate global concern that demands serious engagement and thoughtful solutions. For those who thought that the UN resolution would be a mere academic exercise, are now revising their notes. We have all heard the apology from Pope Leo XIV, the head of the Catholic fraternity, apologizing for the role of the Catholic Church, the papal bulls that offered theological, doctrinal justification for slavery. And we, led by President Mahama and all members of our global coalition, have warmly accepted the apology. We have also acknowledged the apology of the leader of the Church of Scotland for the role of the church. We have also acknowledged the bold statements of the President of France, President Emmanuel Macron, who has publicly stated that France must reckon with its past, and who will be addressing this forum today. He has led France to repeal the obnoxious Code Noir, that very dehumanizing set of laws which classified Africans as commodities, as movable properties, that slave owners could mutilate, could maim Africans and get away with it. It was not criminal. And it is quite shocking that it stayed on the statute books of France for all of these centuries. But thanks to our resolution, the work we are doing, Code Noir no longer exists, and it has been repealed. We also welcome the formal communication from the European Union that they are willing to work with Ghana on this journey for reparatory justice. And we acknowledge the formal notification from the Dutch government and the government of Germany that they are ready to return artifacts to the motherland. So the UN resolution is not a mere academic exercise. We are already recording significant progress, unprecedented accomplishments, and all of us in this room must be proud of the contributions we have made to this landmark resolution. Your Excellencies, the significance of this conference extends beyond the discussions over the next 2 days. The decisions, recommendations, and partnerships emerging from this meeting have the potential to shape the future trajectory of the global reparations agenda. We are therefore challenged to think boldly, build bridges across regions, act collectively, and move beyond historical recognition towards sustainable mechanisms to address the ongoing effects of historical injustices. As President Mahama has emphasized, no single institution, nation, or region can advance this agenda alone. Success will require partnerships, shared understanding, and sustained commitment. It is therefore fitting that this conference is being held in Ghana. For centuries, Ghana was held as the headquarters of the transatlantic enslavement. That is why Ghana hosts the highest number of forts and castles than any other country. But today, Ghana is transitioning from being a crime scene to a sanctuary for healing and reparatory justice. Your Excellencies, as we commence our deliberations, we must be guided by a spirit of dialogue, partnership, and mutual respect. We must approach our discussions with the understanding that although history cannot be changed, the future remains ours to shape. We should be inspired by the courage and resilience of our world leaders gathered here and all those who came before us, and by our responsibility to future generations, who will judge us not only by what we say, but by what we achieve. The world is watching, and the global community looks to this conference for leadership, vision, and practical outcomes. There is growing expectation that this gathering will help chart a clear course for the next phase of the reparatory justice movement. I am confident that with the distinguished expertise in this room, the caliber of world leaders we have here to lead us, to guide us, and to offer the needed direction, we will rise to this responsibility. Let me conclude with a quote from the founder of our country, the Osagefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who remarked, "Countrymen, the task ahead is great indeed, and heavy is the responsibility. And yet it is a noble and glorious challenge, a challenge which calls for courage to dream, the courage to believe, the courage to dare, the courage to do, the courage to envision, the courage to fight, the courage to work, the courage to achieve the highest excellencies and the fullest greatness of man. Dare we ask for more in life." Your Excellencies, this conference will deepen our shared understanding, strengthen our collective resolve, and deliver meaningful outcomes that advance justice, dignity, and equity for Africans as we build and construct a new world without discrimination, without racism, and without inequalities. May future generations look back on this conference in Accra as a defining moment when the international community came together not merely to remember history, but to shape a more just future. Once again, welcome to Ghana and to the high-level Next Steps Conference on Reparatory Justice. I thank you for your attention, Excellencies.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.